How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Taped Podcast, the most smashing podcast in the world. Where your host is always myself, MickyT.
And me, Nostalgia.
And thanks for tuning into today's episode. Today we have another interview with us today. The first ever interview we did actually only happened, I'd say, a couple of weeks ago with the one and only Rough Criminal. But we are here for another interview today with YouTube reaction and review extraordinaire, the one and only Mr. Tony Whitburn.
Woo.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm so
Welcome.
glad to be here.
Well, thank
We're
you
happy
for
to have
coming on.
you,
We
man.
really appreciate you. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
And I appreciate the invitation, certainly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I suppose to start this off, just tell us a bit about yourself, Tony. Tell us what you do and how your channel works.
All right. Well, originally it was meant to be a covers channel, but I grew kind of bored because I didn't really know how to record audio. Now I know a little better, but just a little better. However, I remember that in 2019, back in 2019, in March, Lucy Rose, an artist I really like, released her full record, and she was very active on Twitter. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna react to this new album and send her the video. And so I did. But I liked it so much, I kept reacting to music and discovering a lot of music. Back then, I listened mostly to Radiohead. You can tell by looking at my door. And, and I was just discovering new stuff and mostly alternative stuff. I was a very poppy person back then, but then I moved into the alternative scene. And since then, I've been, well, changing not so much, but definitely discovering a lot of music and a lot of stuff, connecting with people that I never knew had my same kind of taste, that really liked quite the same things, maybe a little more, a little less, but that can connect with them the same way I do. And just kept doing it because I like it, because if you're in this business for money, you're out. But I just loved reacting to music. And that's it. Something I was telling me before the interview is that not so many people know that I'm actually from Mexico and I live here. A lot of people usually tells me, hey man, where is your accent from? Because I also don't speak like Mexican or something. And, and well, I don't know. I just wanted to say that because a lot of my viewers really don't have an idea. They just think, I don't know, he must be from the Midwest. He has that type of voice.
Like, literally before this, like I think just before Nostalgia John, I said I was asked if you were from the US, but then like you told me you were from Mexico. I had no idea, so I wasn't too surprised given your accent. But at the same time, I was like, damn, we've reached towards Mexico. That's class. And I suppose the first question that I want to ask you is who were some of your favorite artists growing up? And of course, like, obviously, since you started reacting to music and getting into more like alternative stuff, like, who are some of your favorite bands and stuff like that?
Oh man, I'm about to embarrass myself. Well, I grew
There's
up.
no shame here. Don't worry.
Nah, thank you. But nah, actually, it was. I have one of those cool uncles who are always listening to classic rock and metal and alternative stuff, or at least back then when I was growing up. Because I grew up in my grandmother's house. He was always there and he was always blasting music. Thanks to him, I know bands like, well, the typical now, the introductory bands, Pink Floyd, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, the Beatles, all of them. I know them because of him. But he also sometimes played Sublime, sometimes played
Ah.
some more electronica driven stuff like the John Frusciante Electronica Records. I don't know if you have heard them or if you knew
I
he
haven't
did
actually.
electronica.
I know of them. Yeah, I know
I've
of
heard
them. I actually haven't listened.
I've heard
Okay.
one of them, but I'm more familiar with John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, the Red Hot, of course. But yeah, that was a deal. He played a lot of music that was either well known or kind of unknown. And then I acquired my own taste because I grew up listening and watching to 2000s MTV from the very start, from Daria and Happy Tree Friends and all of that stuff to the end of the decade. I mean, when they played Lady Gaga and Paramore and all that stuff, and that's what rubbed on me. So
Yeah.
in my teens, I listened to Lady Gaga, to I don't even remember the artist back then, but I listened to them, and I had this very poppy side. So, the typical story when I used to like the girl in high school, she listened to One Direction, and there you have me listening to One Direction.
To be fair, though, One Direction had some bangers back in the day. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Still, last makes you beautiful now and often. I mean, now and then.
Yeah. The nostalgia, holy damn.
Yeah, but
Go
well,
ahead.
yeah, you tell me.
Okay. No, I just had a question. Is there any like genres in particular that you had no idea existed before, you starting your YouTube channel and just expanding your taste? Is there anything that, or even is there anything that you just weren't interested in at all, but then you gave the chance thanks to your YouTube channel and what you do on YouTube?
Yeah, whatever the Shacks do, that one. That sort of punk, but so messy, but so true. Because when you pay attention to the lyrics of the Shacks, oh my god, there's a reason why they call Philosophy of the World that album. But yeah, that, well, I haven't reacted to Black Midi, the genre, not the band, but both ways. I didn't know Black Midi existed, the genre, and I didn't know what Black Midi was doing. And I like both of them. I haven't listened to their newest record. A lot of people has comment on that. But there probably will be a reaction for that one.
I really hope to see that one, because if y'all have been keeping up with me, I absolutely love that album. And I really hope that you love it too if you're ever going to react to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
got a
incredible.
schedule and all, but I can make room for it. I wasn't planning it because, I still, I get so many recommendations every single day. So I have to, go through my schedule. But,
Yeah.
I can make room. No problem.
Thank you.
You'll be glad you did. Just about your reactions, is there any video you made in particular where you think that your reaction and just your first impressions with the record were the most memorable? Any video that, or just any video that you would consider to be your favorite reaction of yours, your favorite listening experience?
Yeah, in the airplane over the sea, one of the first ones.
Yes.
Sometimes I even still go through that video. I don't usually go watch my old videos or anything. But that one, it truly, I don't know, I was perhaps being me at my realist and enjoying a record truly. I even forgot there was a camera there.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what I
that's one
try
of my
to do.
favorite things. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Discord just cut off.
That's what I try to do with my reactions instead of listening to an album and criticizing it consciously. I pretend I'm in front of a friend who likes the very same music, and so I'm comfortable giving my thoughts and everything.
That
Yeah,
takes
I
me
think
back to
that-
when me and you listened to Death Consciousness, and I was listening to it for the first time.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, me and Michael used to listen to albums together in college. But you bring up a good point there, because the reason a lot of reaction videos, and yours in particular, I think definitely appeal to me, is just you don't really get the experience of listening to an album in the airplane over the sea for the first time more than once. You can only experience that once, and I think your videos are a very good vessel to kind of through you listen to the album for the first time again, and I think just the way you react to music is, and just the way you talk about music, it's just very honest. I just love the way you express how you feel about the music. I love the way you express what you're listening to. Out of the many reaction channels on YouTube, I think your videos are definitely some of the best, in my opinion.
I agree.
Thank you, man. Well, I'm trying to keep it homemade and appeal to other people like me.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing to do. A good thing to stand by, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there any particular YouTube channels that you really like, and is there any channels that actually inspire what you do alongside reaction reviews?
Yeah, well, only one, but I remember perfectly because I don't remember if no, I remember perfectly. I don't remember what am I saying? The name of the channel. I'm not sure if it's Nightwalk or Nightcrawl. I think it's Nightwalk.
Nightwalk. Is he the one who does Radiohead reactions?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know the one.
Well, I love Radiohead, and watching his videos was, apart from entertaining, just what you said with the airplane over the sea. You don't get to listen to OK Computer twice. And watching somebody doing it, it's pretty, I don't know, it moves something within you.
Yeah.
And I like that he was also honest and humble, and he was really enjoying it. So I kind of copied his technique, let's call it like that. And
it's not copying really, but yeah. But that's a good one. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he was the only one because I don't like when people pause the music to talk. I don't know why. I know I chop the songs, but that's for copyright reasons. And if it was for me, I could play the whole record non-stop, record the whole 40 minutes of the album, and just be there sitting, listening the whole time, throwing a comment now and then. But YouTube doesn't quite allow that without you getting a claim or your video blocked. So that's the reason. However, when people pauses the music, or these vocal coaches that react to something, and more than reacting is analyzing, I don't know. Those are the most popular videos and all, but that's not the experience I get when I listen to music. I'm not consciously seeing what is here or what is there. I have a little bit of musical knowledge because I'm a musician, but I don't really know that much about theory or all of that stuff. I just hear, listen, and then I give what I think it's happening in that song, if something impresses me, of course. If not, I simply talk from the feelings.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't necessarily need to know like music theory or anything like that to just analyze and just talk about music or whatever. And I suppose that's what I really enjoy about a lot of like reaction reviews and stuff like that, is that it's just not overloading you with a lot of stuff that you just don't know about. It's genuine feeling and just genuine thoughts that come from a raw perspective, and I really enjoy that about just many reaction review channels as well as yourself. And I just really like that aspect of a lot of like music criticism. So it's interesting to take that into consideration, because I know there are a few channels that definitely focus a lot on musical theory, but majority of the time that isn't really the case.
Yeah, I know. Besides, I think it's easier to simply give the facts instead of trying to express what you think is what other people also feels. Kind of like it's easier to say this is this and that is that than this is this for me because, like a little essay or something, and actually appeal to people. So I find more value in that than simply throwing facts and theory and technical points.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah. I have a question. Is there Is there a way that you decide what albums you listen to? Is it just based off what people suggest in the comments? Do you look at Rate Your Music or stuff like that? Or is it just, stuff you happen to just come across elsewhere?
There are 3 ways I can get to react to an album. The first is that I got my own personal list that I've I collect over the years. Because trust me, there are plenty of records I haven't heard and I want to hear. Every single one of those records, I write it down. The second one is through my recommendations. The people that watches my videos is always commenting, can you please react to this or to that? And if a lot of people, well, if more than one person is asking me to react to that album, at least I, before actually listen to it, go to the Wikipedia page or do my little research if that album has history, if that album is significant in some ways. And that's how I can also react to another album. The third way is through a friend recommendation, because it has happened before. And my friends don't have the same taste as me, but they got interesting taste. So like the Kero Kero Bonito reactions, those happened because of a friend. And it was cool to have that kind of diversity musically talking in the channel. So I'm not really close to the experiences, and those are my 3 main sources of how I get to react to an album.
Yeah, that's interesting about Kero Kero Bonito. That's definitely one of your more fun reactions for sure.
Yeah, that's the joys of Kero Kero Bonito, really.
Oh yeah.
And you cover so much music on your channel. You cover a lot of albums and a lot of genres. And I'm curious if there's any genres that you wish you could do more outside of what you normally react to. So, say I know you've rarely done like a lot of electronica. Like I suppose you've only done like selected ambient works, for example. I'm just curious, is there any other genres that you wish you could get to more?
You just said it, electronica. Because I have almost like a separate list of electronica records and names that have been written in stone in my memory, like Flying Lotus and Burial. And I have reacted to Burial, of course. I haven't checked Flying Lotus. I haven't checked most of Tom York solo records, which I know they are electronica. And a lot
that
of
would be interesting for a Radiohead fan as well.
Yeah, Born from Canada, for example. I haven't checked them either, but I know they are electronica. And that's one of the genres I like to cover a little more. The other one is folk. I like the tender acousticness of folk music. Of course, folk is a very wide term. It can mean a lot of things. But I'm talking about that kind of stuff, like what I started to react in the channel, which was No Words Left by Lucy Rose, which is a very tender and acoustic record. And I also like to react to that more, but for some reason or another, I don't do it that often. I used to do it a little more when I reacted to individual songs, but my back took a toll on that one, so I had to stop for a while.
Understandable. Yeah. There is definitely a niche for like a lot of folk records to be reacted to, but it's just choosing which ones that you want to do as well, because like you said, there's so much out there to cover, and obviously you won't be able to get to cram everything in when you're covering so much stuff. So you could definitely understand that. And I think going back to what you're saying about people, always asking you to review this and review that, it must be overwhelming then with the amount of albums that you get requested daily.
Sometimes, especially when I release a reaction that's highly anticipated, like the one for Melancholy. And a lot of people comes to my video both to say, hey man, nice reaction, and can you please react to this? But most of the time, let's say I get 5 requests a day. When I upload something like Melancholy, I got like 30 requests a day. And well, that does, I don't know, you really gotta make room in your mind first to know there is all this music out there ready to be discovered and that I should consider. But I also need to know where to start. It's not that easy all of the time, and that's why a lot of records don't really make the cut. Some records I end up listening in my free time by myself and liking them, some others I don't. But that's what happens when you have so many things to choose from. You eventually have to choose which ones you will do on camera and which ones you will do by yourself. And I just try to balance that because I know, well, a lot of people anticipate certain records, try to reserve those for the camera. But all in all, yeah, it can be overwhelming. And it is, at the end of the day, dealing with a lot of people. So if you have a job, if you have a day job, you know that's stressful. But anyway, if you like what you do, you'll find a way around.
Yeah,
You got to keep on keeping on.
Just because you did mention that you don't listen to everything on camera, was there any records that a lot of people suggested you listen to, and then you went to record a video on them, but you found that your experience listening to the album wasn't that enjoyable, or just wasn't that interesting, and you didn't end up uploading the video? Was there any albums like that?
The record, what was the name of the first Billie Eilish record? Well, that record.
Interesting.
When
we all fall asleep, where do we go? Yeah.
That one. Oh my God, such a thing. But that one, yeah, it put me to sleep. And I wouldn't say I like or dislike Billie Eilish, simply that the record is way too, even for me, is way too tender. So at the end I was like, oh my God, another song. Oh my God, another song.
Yeah, but that was definitely one that was suggested a lot, I can imagine.
Yeah,
that's an interesting
I reacted to it on camera, and I actually got to upload it, but I took it down because it was boring. I was bored in the video. And that one, which another record? I'm pretty sure there's another record that was actually pretty suggested, but I ended up listening off camera. Well, I don't remember right now. If I remember later, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, just for
I
you.
suppose...
Yeah, you tell me. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I suppose, is there certain artists that you've listened to that have been like very seminal for your music taste? There are artists that have definitely broadened your horizons for what you thought music could be.
Wait, I didn't quite hear that one. Can you repeat it, please?
Okay. Is there any bands or artists that basically expanded your music taste and kind of broadened your horizons for what music could actually be and achieve?
Oh my God, yes, and that was the record, The Fall of Troy. Have you heard Doppelganger by The Fall of Troy?
I haven't actually.
I haven't either. I've heard of Fall of Troy, but I haven't actually listened to anything by them.
Well, they are, I don't even know how to describe it. They don't sound like anything you probably heard before. But let's say they are post-hardcore experimental metal with a lot of poppiness in their sound. They are like a much heavier and complex Deftones. So there is this record, Doppelganger, their second record, that I love. I absolutely love. And I missed the chance to listen to it on vinyl. I mean, on camera. I'm thinking about vinyl because I got it right here. But yeah, that record. And at the first listen, I freaking hate it. It made my head ache because it's so freaking heavy. And I'm not talking about just sound. I'm talking about the complexity of that record, the structures. You don't see anything coming. It's like punch after punch to your brain and to your ears, and you end up loving it. After a couple listens, it just grows on you. If you play Guitar Hero, then you probably know a song by them called FC Premix. That's their most famous song. And it's a blast, an absolute blast, and it helped me a lot getting to open my mind into another world of music, because that's it. That's not a genre. That's a freaking world. And to metal particularly, because my approach to metal before starting to do reactions was Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and Slipknot. And that was it.
Yeah, the big ones, the big ones. That was actually kind of the same for me with my introduction to metal. It was just
same.
big into Iron Maiden, big into Metallica, big into Megadeth, big into Slipknot. Rest in peace, Joey Jordison. And
Oh my god!
just
Just heard
yeah, that was shocking. That was shocking. And just those bands in general just got me into heavier music, I suppose. And obviously they're the more popular ones. They're definitely ones that you'd kind of expect for someone who's not really that huge into metal to get into. And I mean, recently we've actually me and Nostalgia have been getting into the death metal band Death recently. So we've been getting huge into that. And there's just other bands that I've ended up discovering over that, like I know some of them are still a bit popular, obviously, like Deftones, and I suppose who else comes to mind? My brain is scrambling. Slayer obviously are popular as well. Just a few others. And I kind of like how you can kind of progress through these genres, especially, and just discovering more and more. And yeah, I'd be interested to check out that Fall of Troy record. Actually, the way that you described it, I'm sold. I'm gonna listen to it.
Me too.
Oh, I'm glad. I definitely have to hear your thoughts on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can keep in touch.
Definitely.
You briefly mentioned you didn't really like the Billie Eilish album, which I guess is a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but do you have any other like big hot takes and popular opinions when it comes to music, just at large?
Well, first of all, more than not liking it, it just didn't rub on me. And but all in all, I do like one song from it, which is called "When the Party's Over." It's like a little guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that song is amazing.
That's a hot take on something. I do believe in guilty pleasures because they are, I don't know. For me, at the end of the month, I like to blast some pop and some stuff that I don't usually listen to, just for the sake of it, just to enjoy it mindlessly. Like it's a musical equivalent for me to eating a McDonald's burger. It's bad for you to do it regularly, but once a month, once every 2 months, my God, it's a delight. And that kind of stuff in your life, just to keep, I don't know, just to keep in touch with that simpler side of yourself. That's what I do. Yeah. That's why I think guilty pleasures are not only real, but important. It allows you to take out that energy that otherwise, I don't know, it's just like, oh man, this is so wrong, but it feels so good. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, especially with, I'm sure Mick, you can definitely relate. When we're just listening to albums constantly, like several every day, we're doing reviews and notes on them. It can get a little exhausting just, having to take music seriously and, really analyzing what you're listening to. So sometimes I'll just fucking sit back, I'll throw on ABBA, fucking Blink-182.
Yes.
You name it, and I'll just lose myself. I definitely agree.
Man, I'll throw on some fucking Lily Allen now and then. I'll throw on some fucking I'll throw on, even though I don't like Korn, I'll throw on a couple of Korn songs. I for one like don't exactly. Like I wouldn't okay, maybe the Limp Bizkit song or two. Don't at me.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm sorry, but Break Stuff is a Sorry?
No, say it. Say your piece, man.
I was just gonna say, unironically, Break Stuff is a fucking banger. I love that song. It's so stupid and meat-headed, but I love it.
Hell yes, it is. Oh, it is. And even there are a little more serious songs like Take a Look Around. I still enjoy that kind of stuff, man. It's I don't know, it's kind of refreshing. And I was gonna say, that I miss the times when Limp Bizkit was the worst possible music. I really do miss those times.
That is true.
I was too young for obviously the Limp Bizkit height. They were literally around before I was born, but like I was around at the height of like when like the boy band revival came around, and like me being like the 9-year-old that I am, just like, ugh, this is not good. This music's for girls. I don't like it. Blech. But looking back now, it's just like, why was I such a little shit? Why was I like that?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely there's a sense of maturity in like listening to something that as a kid you were like, ooh, it's for girls, like Britney Spears or something. I'll throw on Britney Spears from time to time. It slaps, man.
It does. It absolutely slaps.
But like as a kid, never ever.
Especially when it gets mashed up with Deftones or something. Oh my god! You see, Britney Spears still have some bangers.
Exactly. I'll throw them on in the queue with like, I don't know, fucking Nas or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, those are good. Tupac also sometimes from time to time.
Yes, yeah.
Some 50 Cent sometimes. Speaking of guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I can't stand 50 Cent. Oh my god.
You know? Well, yeah. I mean, he's awful. His music is freaking. Oh my god. But you know what? I also like to throw his whole "Get Rich or Die Trying" when I'm working out, because it does get you pumped. Those instrumentals sound like pure New York. And the fact that the guy survived 9 freaking shots. Okay, that sells it.
Yeah,
that sells his character, I guess. But I don't know, like 50 Cent just doesn't really do much for me personally. I just kind of find his style a little boring, like especially for 2000s rap. I suppose I throw on. I mean, in 2000s rap, I probably throw on some Jay-Z or some Clips or something like that. Those are usually my vibe. And to be fair, if 50 Cent is playing it in a barber shop or something, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with this. I won't whine. I won't whine in public. Like literally, I was getting my hair cut like 2 weeks ago, and they were playing 50 Cent in, and I was just internally thinking, am I really vibing to this while I'm getting my hair cut? Fuck it, I am.
Yeah, of course, man.
Well, yeah, but sometimes, from time to time, it can be a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Do you have any other unpopular opinions? Like, was that the main one?
No, I do still have a couple more. For example,
perfect.
Yeah.
I still don't like at all the Glow Part 2. I don't know what people sees on that one.
You know what? My girlfriend will 100% agree with you on that, and I could never see eye to eye with her. But you're definitely not alone.
That's like my favorite folk album of all time.
I'm so sorry, man.
Probably
okay.
mine too, but it's one of those albums that it's difficult. It's a difficult album to kind of get into. So it's definitely not. It's an opinion that it's definitely unpopular, but I can definitely see why it's like so hard to get into.
That's just
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like an unpopular opinion that I have that I can totally understand why people dig it is with the Pixies and Doolittle. Honestly, I've said this before already on the podcast, but I'm not huge on the Pixies.
Yeah, and I'll never see eye to eye.
To be honest, me neither. I do like them when I blast their whole records, but it's not like I listen to them in a regular basis or anything, apart from maybe Hey and Monkey Gone to Heaven. Those are the only... Oh, and Tony's Team, because obvious reasons. But those are the only songs. And I still don't quite like Surfer Rosa. That's like more a miss than a hit for me. The other records are okay.
Yeah.
But I do get what you're saying. They are so difficult to actually like them. And they are more like an acquired taste for me. So yeah, I do get it.
Who knows? They might be the same for me too. I suppose maybe if I gave them more listens or whatever, but for now I'm not too hot on them. As
Oh,
I kind of like Where Is My Mind, but that's really the only Pixie song that I really enjoy personally.
right. But I mean, trying to get into them, that's fine, man. But there's a very thin line, and I get to know this because of my reactions between listen to something more to appreciate it and actually forcing yourself to liking it. You
Yeah.
usually tell pretty well for the first listen or two if you're gonna like something or not. Some things do grow on you, some others will not. And that's completely okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we talked about this on the last interview we did with Rough Criminal, and we were on about the exact same topic actually. And I
Yeah.
still
Oh,
stand by the fact that I don't think like obviously we should be like forcing ourselves to like something, but if we haven't heard it like obviously you don't have to listen to an album like 10 times, like you shouldn't. That's just dumb. But like if you just get the urge to like try it out again maybe, then yeah, I suppose that's fine in that sense, but yeah, I suppose just forcing yourself to enjoy it is obviously just going to make you miserable, and I'm just of that opinion.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And now that you say that about listening to an album 10 times just to know if you like it or not, here's another unpopular take. I don't like at all Kanye West, and I don't see why people like it.
Oh. Oh.
Really?
That's
Damn.
spicy.
It is.
Yeah, I've talked
Oh.
about it to some subscribers in the past, but I try listening to Graduation, to I don't remember the name of the record, but the one that has a song about being in love with a porn star, and that has a cover blurry like that. It's a red cover. Well, that one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
My Beautiful Dark
My-
Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, my dark, that one. But yeah, I tried to listen to it, and you know what's curious? The third time I tried to listen to My Beautiful Twisted Fantasy, my headphones died in the middle
Oh
of the
my.
record. It's like they knew. Tony, what the hell are you doing here? You know you don't dig this. I'm out, and they were out.
That's a sign. That's a sign.
Yeah, that's
I know.
I mean, Kanye again is another artist that's kind of a difficult, I guess.
Very polarizing. You either love
Yeah.
it
Very
or
polarizing.
not a lot or not at all. So for me, it's that I don't like him at all. Not
And I
him
can
as a-
totally
I think just his heart. I really don't know him to say that, but his music doesn't speak to me.
and I can totally get that. Even though like Kanye was like one of my favorite artists growing up, and he still is one of my favorite artists to this day, I can totally respect that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if there's many people who are just kind of in the middle on Kanye. Like, I guess you either love him or you hate him, really.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single person telling, okay, I like a couple records, but these ones I don't. It's either you love him or you don't. And it's so weird to see that kind of phenomenon. But there it is.
Yeah,
I think it's
That-
just because of how extreme he is. Like he's so out there. He's like,
He's
you
manic.
know, yeah. And even in his music, it's just very chaotic. If you don't fuck with it, then it's just gonna turn into something that's just really hard to listen to. But if you do appreciate it, then you kind of learn to appreciate all sides of him, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
You were gonna say something, Mick, weren't you?
No, I was just about to say what you were about to say.
Ah, okay. Fair. Yeah, but speak. Oh, do you want to say something, Tony?
Well, I was thinking that I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or a hot take or anything, but I dig grime so much more than rap. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe it's because it's for me more complex. It has the flow. It's kind of broken, but not quite. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just so different than rap, but it has that's something, and I like it so much. That's another genre I haven't had the opportunity to cover in my channel because the major grime records I've already heard, and I like them so much. They even have an influence on my music. But So far, I haven't been able to react to anything grimy, let's say. I just know I
Yeah.
enjoy it so much more than rap.
Yeah, and like it might be hard to find like new grime records because a lot of like UK like hip hop artists are like moving into that more Western, US kind of trap style these days. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Lot of UK rappers definitely take a lot from like lots of like very
mm,
popular trends that go on in hip hop in the US. Like obviously trap, like AJ Tracy is an example. He's been big on the whole like pop rap wave recently, and
yeah,
I don't know. I just guess grime. I suppose grime has just become a little less prevalent since its like explosion
yeah,
in like the mid 2000s with Dizzy Rascal and fair to say Skepta. But like
Wiley.
I mean yeah, and Wiley too. Like I could and they obviously those artists obviously have gone on to do like more poppier things with their music as well for like commercial sake. And I suppose that I do like grime. I do think grime is great at its best. Like I obviously love Dizzy Rascal, but I suppose it's just I guess it's just I like the rawness of grime, but that's just kind of missing in grime these days, you know?
Mm,
That's right. Absolutely. It sounds kind
yeah,
of
And
poppy compared to what was sounding in the 2000s. Even the instrumental
yeah,
pieces
yeah,
like Pipe Piper, those had something.
yeah,
mm-hmm,
exactly. And you know, grime is also just kind of becoming less popular now that drill is being more established in the UK as well.
Oh,
yeah,
yes. Yes, that's also true. But hey, you said
Hmm.
something about those grime artists moving into a more Western style, but that didn't just happen with grime. We got Arctic Monkeys that were all about Sheffield, and then in 2013, they were all about
yeah,
California.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
true. Yeah,
And
Yeah,
it's
they
not a
did
bad
abandon the
thing.
UK in that one.
I know. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's just another phenomena that really cocks my attention.
mm,
Yeah, true. And I suppose it just kind of depends on who artists are linking up with as well. Like you were on about Arctic Monkeys there. And I suppose that like whole shift into more westernized sounds was definitely courtesy of like Joshua Homme of Queens of the Stone Age, because obviously Josh Homme produced Humbug, their album Humbug, and you know he heavily influenced some of their records thereafter, obviously, and kind of find it interesting how just different artists can obviously influence different artists to do whatever and kind of stray away from the norm. And that can be a good thing for an artist, but it can also be kind of a detriment as well. Kind of I feel like it kind of warps perception from fans
mm,
as well when you think about it, because some fans will probably be alienated because oh, it's not really that organic sounding to us or whatever. I personally do actually really like AM. I like what Arctic Monkeys did on that record. Well, I could totally see why people would be turned off by it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Same opinion. Um, yeah, I was just wondering because you briefly mentioned like some records definitely do grow on you, whereas some you kind of know what your opinions are going to be on first listen. Is there any records that you initially? I mean, you mentioned Fall of Troy, but maybe if there's any other records that at first you just didn't like or didn't really understand that for whatever reason you decided to give another chance to maybe a week later, maybe a few months down the road, and then your opinion of them completely changed, or even the opposite. Any records that you at one point very much enjoyed, but you don't really anymore.
Yes, for both. I'll,
Mm.
I don't want to repeat the examples, but The Shacks
Yeah.
was one of them. I love that record now. Another one that quite went the opposite way was Veteran by JPEG Mafia. I really enjoyed
Ah.
it that first listen to that record. Now I cannot stand the guy. I don't know. I just it what's the opposite of grow? Well,
I guess fell off.
that one. Yeah, I fell off the sky or whatever for me. I didn't really like it. Kind of the same with Psycho Candy by the Jesus and Mary chain. After the initial
Mm.
hype, it's not that I hate it or anything, but it's quite difficult to get into it with all that noise boosting in your mind. You really gotta have a certain state of mind, a certain taste to like that, to appreciate that. Sometimes it does
Mm.
sound like a bossa, a literal bossa, and you, well, I don't know, you really gotta be a certain type of person to dig that. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, it also didn't quite grow on me. Only Jesus Etc. and Ashes of the American Flags, I'm sorry. But yeah, after the initial reaction, it wasn't quite like it was before.
Yeah.
From the Fires, Greta Van Fleet, I don't listen to that anymore at all. Yeah, kind of goes without saying.
Yeah, kind of goes without saying. God, I don't want to make this a whole other segment where we shit on Greta Van Fleet. I don't want that again.
Oh my god, you have already done that?
Oh, probably.
I already have. Trust, I already have. And I probably
we-
probably will again if we ever do a Led Zeppelin worst to best.
Yeah, I think we talked about their new record when it came out on one of our episodes. Yeah, I remember.
I gave it a 2 out of 10. Oh my god.
Oh my god. But yeah, those guys are, oh my. Like a deviation from what rock could have been in the 2010s. Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talented musicians. I think they need to work on their own stuff because this copying Led Zeppelin thing isn't working.
I know.
I mean, obviously there's people that absolutely love their music and will defend them. So I will respect those people, obviously, but it's just I'd rather listen to the original thing. Like, I'm looking at Led Zeppelin 1 right now. Like, I would rather listen to that over fucking Through the Fires or whatever.
Absolutely, that goes without saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, talking about Led Zeppelin, I'm also not quite much of a fan nowadays of them. Not for any particular reason. I simply didn't quite connect with their music apart from Led Zeppelin 4 after listening to the records, especially with the third one. I don't think I've listened to the third one after uploading the video for that one, and that was over a year ago.
That's actually funny that you say that, because Led Zeppelin 3 used to be my least favorite of like the original 4 Led Zeppelin albums, but since I've given like those albums more listens, honestly, it's grown on me quite a lot. It's actually one of my favorite ones. But the one that used to be my favorite was actually Led Zeppelin 1, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Led Zeppelin 4 reigns supreme.
I know.
I've always been a Led Zeppelin 2 fan myself.
That one grew off me too.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. I mean,
it's still a good album. Trust.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't see myself listening to much Led Zeppelin, even though I definitely really like the band. It's just not music that I really come back to regularly. A lot of classic rock isn't really.
Now that you mentioned Led Zeppelin 2, I do have a hot take on that album, and on very other albums from that point of view. The cover is freaking awful. One of the worst freaking covers I've seen in my entire life. I even got a list of great records, awful covers, and I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, that might be interesting. Yeah, that one I'm not going to really defend. It's it's not the prettiest thing to look at.
Yeah. I think the best Led Zeppelin cover is Led Zeppelin 4. The painting on like the wall looks so cool.
I know. It says so
Led
much
Zeppelin,
with a single word.
Yeah, and it's actually like, I think the story behind that album, like being like not having the Led Zeppelin name on it or whatever, is actually really interesting. Obviously, because they were actually gonna make it an untitled album. They weren't gonna call it Led Zeppelin 4 at all, and they weren't gonna put their name on it, which at the time was pretty huge. Because a lot of record labels and obviously wanted to promote the band, sell the band, so they obviously had to put names and like records on it. But they just didn't. They went against the norm, and I respect the hell out of them for that. Plus, like the whole story behind the sigils that each band member took was actually really cool.
Yeah, definitely. That iconography, I don't know, it's something you don't see nowadays, at least not that often. With that power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you were mentioning there's some albums you like where you don't really like the covers. I think that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Is there any there?
You want to know the list?
Yeah. Maybe name like some of the more interesting ones.
Obviously, Pet Sounds. I mean, everyone can agree with that one.
Which one? Wait, I remember you commented, Nostalgia, on my review for
No.
Pet Sounds. Which one of them wasn't feeding an animal?
Oh no, that was Rate Your Music review. I think there's on the cover, if you look at the cover, one of them is like petting nothing. There's no goat or anything. I can't remember who it is. They're just petting the air.
I think it was it Dennis Wilson?
I don't remember. I can't picture like what order they're standing in.
All I know is I want to punch Mike Love in the face. That's it.
Okay.
Well, definitely that one is. Yeah, another that also it's so fun for me, but it just the cover. Looking at that cover, it's like, what were they thinking? It's Pink Moon by Nick Drake. That yeah, really. Or maybe it's just that dude kind of thing that has a dead look in his eyes and looks like a clown. I don't know what the hell is that entity, but that
I
thing.
kind of like that cover.
What?
Yeah, I kind of like it too. But...
Oh yeah, the feeling is
It
good.
gives me.
Really good and
It
cozy.
gives me kind of Talk vibes, like a few of their like mid '80s records, as well as like Laughing Stock and what was the first one again? Spirit of Eden. Kind of gives me that kind of vibe. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's intriguing to me.
There's one that definitely comes to mind for me. Modest Mouse, The Moon in Antarctica.
Oh yeah,
One of my favorite albums of all time, but the cover is like so ugly. Like half the cover is just a purple block with the album text and the band's name in like very small text, and then the bottom side of the cover is just like a very like washed out like colorless image of like some sort of desert, and there's just two badly cropped blue hands handshaking one another. It's one of the ugliest covers I've ever seen in my life, but it's one of my favorite albums as well.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on
Oh well, it definitely doesn't do the music justice.
yeah.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad because that's literally your introductory card to the world.
Yeah, and like a lot of the time, I don't know if it's just me. I'm a very visual person, but like whenever I listen to an album I adore, I constantly have the cover in mind. Like it sets an atmosphere for sure. So I mean, if anything, for me, it's an impressive thing if the album cover is hideous. And I still, and it's not like it's a metal album. Like the album is supposed to be very pretty, very melancholic. But it's just that cover, it looks like vomit, but I still adore the project, and it still puts me in an atmosphere that I do connect with a positive feeling.
Yeah, well, that I get it. And it's true.
Also, I was right. It was Dennis Wilson.
Yeah, there's no goat in front of him, he's just feeding nothing.
Poor guy. They just tell him to pose.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any other on the list?
Yeah. Well, is it? Yeah, well, I don't know how to catalog these two because they get the job done. They evoke that feeling, but they haven't aged well. They look like bootlegs. The first one is So Tonight That I Might See by Macy Starr. That's a beautiful record. One of my favorites, actually. But the cover, man, that fractal image on low resolution and the letters superimposed, they're just, I don't know, they are weird to look at, despite it does evoke that feeling. So it's kind of a, what? I mean, I get it, but what?
I don't think I've ever seen that one, actually.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
No, well, Macy Starr is an amazing band. It's like gentle psychedelia, so tender, so beautiful. But one that you probably do know, and that's the other record that falls into this category for me. It's Tupacalypse Now by Tupac. It just
yeah.
it just looks like a bootleg. That's all it has. It haven't aged well.
There's a lot of like old hip hop covers that definitely look kind of bootleggy.
Yeah. And
especially like 2000s, honestly, I think wasn't a good era for hip hop covers. Yeah. Too much bling bling.
I know.
No, remember when we did the that that album covers podcast with Punk Revolution Now, and we were
Oh,
on
yeah.
about that one Snoop Dogg album cover where
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just like just two completely different mansions on one side and just
Oh,
awful
I have to
text
send it
that's
to you after,
stretched
Tony.
out.
It is hideous. Oh,
Which one?
Like a lot of those like
it's
a
the
lot
Snoop Dogg one.
yeah, a lot of those like old like hip hop albums definitely have like this weird like tacky charm to them, I guess. Like like a lot of no, these ones are just plain bad. Have you ever seen any of like Gucci Mane's like mixtape album covers?
No, not at all. I don't even know who that is.
Oh.
You don't understand. He just takes like popular franchises or movies or something and puts him in them, and it's just like it's so
What?
weird. There's one where he's in a drive-through at a McDonald's, but there's like a Burger King logo. I don't understand.
No, my favorite Gucci Mane cover is where he superimposes his face onto like an iceberg, and it looks so bad. It looks like someone who just learned how to Photoshop.
No, have you ever heard of the Trap Story one where he just photoshops his face onto Buzz Lightyear's body?
Oh my god. Have
There's
you
also one
seen
where
the-
there's also. No,
have
sorry,
you
go
seen
ahead,
the
Tony.
channel? Have you seen the channel Suit House? Where a lot of
Oh yeah,
well, we should do something like that with the images. My man.
yeah, yeah. We actually have a similar episode where we went through, if you know Punk Revolution Now, YouTuber, we went through our favorite and least favorite covers, and there was some very bad covers on there. I found this Snoop Dogg cover. I'll send it to the podcast
Yeah.
discussion chat in the server.
Oh
I
yeah,
found the image of it.
it's so funny. Oh my god.
Let me see.
There's also the one where Gucci Mane photoshopped his like ice cream face tattoo onto Albert Einstein's head onto Albert Einstein's face. It's a good
Oh, I'll have
Photoshop too. It's a good Photoshop.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But there was definitely like a style of hip hop cover that was very popular for some reason. That has it just aged very bad.
I will say though, there are ones that I do think have aged well, like Outcasts. A few of them have some great album covers that do have a similar vibe, but they've aged immaculately. Like
Except I don't like the Stankonia. No, not Stankonia. The Aquemini cover. I still really
that
don't like
one's
that
like their
one.
best one.
No, I don't like
Dude.
that one.
That's sad. That's my favorite one.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I wish
I
I
do.
could
I actually.
about it, but I only know Speaker Box, The Love Below cover, and
Yeah, I don't mind
it's
that
two
one. I
covers in one.
yeah.
Pretty much. I do like AT Aliens as well. That one's really cool.
My favorite.
Oh yeah, that one I too remember. Oh my god.
Yeah, that one's sick. Is there any other questions, Nostalgia?
I don't have any. You can.
I suppose we'll just end it there, I guess. I have no more questions. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tony, thanks for coming on today. We really appreciated having you on.
Appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate being with you guys. It has been very fun.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a fun
it's been a blast.
conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Do you want to shout out any of your channel and your socials?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Tony Whitburn 117 and on Facebook at Tony Whitburn. Also, I recently opened an Instagram account, which is Tony_Whitburn. I haven't changed the name, I just recently opened it. But I'm digging a little more the socials nowadays. And that's it. If you want, you can check out my channel. And I'll definitely be checking yours too, guys, a little more than I
Thank
did.
Thank you,
you.
man. Yeah, man, this was fun. I hope we stay in touch. We can work on some more stuff together in the future, hopefully.
Absolutely.
I'd love to talk. I'd love to have you on for a podcast in the future again.
Yeah.
And
was a
I'd
blast.
love to be here.
Yeah. And yeah, with that in mind, thank you guys so much for checking out today's interview with Tony Whitburn. I really hope that you enjoyed. Of course, be sure to check out Tony's channel and his socials. Be sure to check out our own channels, me and Nostalgia's, as well as our Album of the Year and Rate Your Music pages, as well as our Twitters. And yeah, with that in mind, my name's been MickyT.
I've been Nostalgia.
And I am Tony Whitburn.
Bye.
Peace.